Here and welcome to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll find us on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connecting with the show, we thank you so much for tuning in worldwide, up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the world here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I cannot thank you enough for being a part of the show. I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful week and a wonderful morning. If you're having a tough morning, we're going to make it better. If you're having a good morning, we're going to keep it going. That's what we do here. So welcome to Wake Up Call. Thank you for tuning in with us and being a part of this show. Of course, as we said, the Heritage Hill Studios, having the opportunity to hang out with you with Heritage Hill as our exclusive studio partner. You can head out to Heritage Hill Brew House in Pompey on Sweet Road, and that is a perfect place to take Dad for Father's Day. So, if you'd like to make your Father's Day reservations, which I think you should, they have two opportunities for dads at Heritage Hill Brew House this weekend, June 16th on Father's Day. You have a chicken barbecue, and there's also an indoor buffet. And you can make your reservation by going to heritagehillbrewery.com. That's heritagehillbrewery.com. And make sure you make your reservation immediately so that you don't miss out on an opportunity for Father's Day out in a beautiful landscape. And the weather's supposed to be nice here. I'm going to take a look at this right now. Our current weather for Father's Day has sunny and 78. So make sure you head out there for Father's Day and let them know that DT sent you. With that being said here, I also want to give a shout out to Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, their newest location. You can head out to Heritage Hill North there right at Sweetheart Corner and enjoy everything that they have to offer you there as well. Their flatbreads are absolutely awesome. That dill flavor brings it a unique taste, and I've had a lot of wonderful things out there at Heritage Hill North, and I got to spend some time with my buddy and his wife, and we really had a nice time out there at Heritage Hill. And then I got to see my other buddy and his wife out at Heritage Hill, and we got to share some memories there too, and have some good food and some good drinks as well. So make sure you head out to Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in North Syracuse, New York, and of course Heritage Hill Brew House in Pompey on Sweet Road. With that being said, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', bringing you the list of topics for the day from the snack capital of the world. The annoying moment of the week comes to you first on Fridays. That's proudly presented by Carvel, DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. Then we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for, and that is proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic is when you don't have the answer. The top dog of the week will be at the top of the hour for hour number 2 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll announce the top dog of the week, and then you see that Jaguars logo, and you see that I'm wearing my shirt that says Prowl. And what does that mean? Well, you know that for many years, my Jaguars coverage here on Wake Up Call is entitled On the Prowl. So the Prowl shirt is on, the Jaguars logo is here, and Papa Joe is coming back on the broadcast this morning to talk about Trevor Lawrence's contract extension. We spoke about it yesterday, and I talked about the fact that I was hoping they would get it done here in the preseason, in this off-season time as they're practicing and doing this, that this is a good time to kind of get this thing figured out before you jump into the gears of the season. And if they couldn't get it done right now, then to definitely get it done in the early part of this upcoming season. Well, I said that yesterday morning. They got the contract done yesterday night, and we're going to be talking all about this contract, what it means for the Jaguars as we step forward here into Jacksonville's next chapter. So, a lot of great stuff coming up. Papa Joe at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So, with that being said, let's get right into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt here on Wake Up Call.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment I love that intro. The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. I got a bunch of annoying moments for this week, folks, and I am more than happy to bring them to you. There's a bunch of strange things that you find out about, and some of these definitely worth sharing. So I'm going to get into this one first, because this would be an annoying moment for anybody. You forget that this exists because most of us, God willing, will never have to experience being around this. But that is quicksand. Did you forget that quicksand existed? You probably did. It probably slipped your mind. Quicksand, Dan. Where is quicksand? There's no quicksand bothering anybody. Well, apparently there's quicksand in Hollywood. There's a lot of problems in Hollywood. I just want them to correct these problems. And Hollywood sounds like there's just some issues out there, man. But on a Maine beach, a beach in Maine, Jamie Accord was walking at the water's edge at Pompum Beach State Park when she sunk to her hips in a split second. Letting out a stunned scream, she told her husband she can't get out. She couldn't feel the bottom. She couldn't find her footing. Within seconds, her husband had pulled her from the sand trap. The sand filled in, and the stunned couple wondered what just happened. It was quicksand, known as supersaturated sand, is a real thing around the world, even in Maine, far from the jungle locations where Hollywood has used it to add drama by ensnaring actors. Thankfully, real life is not like in the movies. People who are caught in supersaturated sand remain buoyant. People don't sink in quicksand, allowing them to float and wriggle themselves to safety, said Jim Britt, who's a spokesperson for the Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry. People hear the word quicksand, they think jungle movie. The reality with this supersaturated sand is you're not going to go under, he said, end quote. Now, in this case, climate change played a role in the episode at the state's busiest state park beach, which draws more than 225,000 visitors each year. A series of winter storms rerouted a river that pours into the ocean, softening the sand in an area where beachgoers are more apt to walk, necessitating the placement warning signs by park staff. Now, Accord took to social media to warn others after this happened to her. And she said she was collecting trash, so her hands were full when she sunk. It all happened so fast she didn't have time to be scared, but she worries that it would be frightening to someone who is alone, especially a child. A kid would be scared, she said. I think anybody would be scared. I do like this thing that they said. It's not like in the movies that when you hit quicksand, aka supersaturated sand, when you hit it, or like when your body goes into this and touches this and you go down, that you remain buoyant and you can get out. It's not something that's going to suck you under, because we do see that in the movies that quicksand, you start to go in it and you go more and more and more, and someone has to pull you out or you will sink to your death.
Because you won't be
able to
breathe.
You start to go in it and you go more and more and more. That is something, that's what I thought quicksand did. I thought quicksand, once you go in it, you got to get somebody to get you out of it, or else you're going to be stuck in it forever. Apparently, according to Maine. See, and I want to trust it. I really do. Like, oh yeah, you're not gonna go under in quicksand. that's the, you're going to feel like you're going under, but the quicksand's not going to stop you. You're going to remain buoyant and you're going to be totally fine. I want to believe that. I do. But I'm also looking at this like, you got a lot of people that go to that beach. You don't want anyone to start to panic, right? So I'm not saying the guy didn't tell the truth. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I would rather not have my time in quicksand. I would rather not chance being in quicksand and not have to deal with whether or not how far, like how deep it's going to go, how much it's going to take me into the quicksand. So yeah, because I mean, whatever I've seen, whatever you've probably seen, is that when quicksand happens, you're in it until somebody gets you out. And if somebody doesn't get you out, it's going to keep sucking you deeper and deeper into the quicksand. So, I mean, that's what I know quicksand to be. They're saying, no, that's not the case. Good morning to my mom. They say it's not the case, but I'll mess around with that. That would be a pretty annoying moment, right? You're just walking along the beach and I don't even know what the sound would make. Like that, like, is it almost like the sand's drinking through a straw? It's creepy. Let's go to another one here. Another annoying moment. Here's fun. A YouTuber. Now keep in mind that YouTube flagged me for spam when I was talking about quarterbacks and showing videos of the quarterbacks claiming no rights to the video. Let's remember that because that was wrong, YouTube, and that should have never happened to me. Let's talk about this YouTuber here. They specialize in quote-unquote car shenanigans. They're facing federal charges after authorities said that they directed a video in which two people in a helicopter blasted fireworks at a speeding Lamborghini from above. Alex Choi, who's 24 years old, is charged with causing the placement of an explosive or incendiary device on an aircraft. The Department of Justice is involved. If convicted, Choi faces a maximum of 10 years in federal prison. Prosecutors allege that Choi posted a video last July made without filming permits entitled Destroying a Lamborghini with Fireworks. Well, nice to know that he's catchy with words. And the video, I mean, really? Really? That's the title of your video? The title of your video is exactly what you're doing? There's no, like, catchy name, play on words. No. I'm going to destroy a Lamborghini with fireworks. Oh, what are you going to call it? Destroying a Lamborghini with fireworks. Makes sense. The video has since been taken down by authorities. Says it shows Choi pressing a fire missiles button while two women on board a helicopter shoot fireworks at the sports car as it races across a desert landscape. Officials believe the video was taken at the El Mirage dry lake bed in rural San Bernardino County, about 60 miles northeast of downtown Los Angeles. Another thing that happened in California. Choi did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Associated Press, which I'm obviously reading this from. And Choi, who has over 1 million followers on Instagram, of course, why not? Why freaking not? And nearly that number of subscribers on YouTube entertains his audience with what he calls, quote, the greatest car shenanigans, end quote. Other stunts that he's done has been filming passengers as he rapidly accelerates. Other stunts of his include filming his passengers as he rapidly accelerates and taking a Lamborghini through a gas station car wash. A spokesperson from the Department of Justice says that Choi appeared in court and a federal magistrate judge ordered him released on $50,000 bail. His arraignment is scheduled for July 2nd. No plea was taken. So, some people will do anything for 15 seconds of fame or 15 minutes of fame. My question becomes, why do what generation of strange breed of human has been born that millions of them flock toward stupid things like this? And where did this guy get a helicopter? But probably on eBay. But seriously, these are I'm not against anybody's dreams, right? Maybe this guy wants to be a movie director. And that's awesome. I look at it like this. I see videos of very stupid things or very dangerous things. And I'm not singling out Choi here. I'm talking about anything. I'm not saying don't follow it. I'm asking why. Why does somebody follow that? Why is that the thing that entices you? Where you're like, I got to follow this person. I got to watch their videos. You know there's real people involved. And real people could be hurt. And some of this stuff is just idiotic. I mean, I remember being on TikTok and I posted a video talking to people about how to be positive and how to get through a tough situation. And it got a good amount of views, I thought. And then I posted a video of me having a soda that I had left in the car by accident, and it was frozen, and I put it in the microwave in the bottle to thaw it out. And that had thousands more people watch it. Me putting a soda in a microwave had so many people engaged. More than me talking to people about like taking care of yourself and being good to yourself and not giving up. That, to me, is insanity. It is absolute insanity, but that stuff happens all the time in today's society, and it brings about a deeper annoying moment of the week of why are we so apt to watch and seek things that are insane and dangerous? Is it because we're desensitized? Maybe. And I'm not saying, oh, they should go to my YouTube channel more than this guy's YouTube channel. Hey, you get your followers, God bless. All I'm saying is this art? Is this good? Is it safe? I mean, there's things that you see on TikTok where you just wonder, like, are we just murdering our brain cells every single day on purpose? And I'm not here to say whether you should be on TikTok or not. I'm saying TikTok has been one of those avenues where you can see this stuff, and social media in general, where you can see some of these things. And they say that TikTok in other countries is different than it is here. And that makes me very skeptical of something, right? If they told you Facebook in America is different than Facebook in Japan, I'd be like, why? Why is it different? So, you know, what are they not showing us? I don't believe in the censorship of saying you're not allowed to see this and you're not allowed to see that. I do believe that crimes and sexual things and all that, I do believe that is not for the public viewing, right? I don't think children should be watching that stuff. I don't think adults should be watching that stuff, because who wants to see like some gunfight somewhere, right? But this whole internet, we're keeping you safe. That's the bigger picture here, is like, we're keeping you safe, right? You come and get me. YouTube comes and gets me and says, you're shooting a video that looks just like something you'd see on Fox or ESPN, where I'm talking about a quarterback and then I'm showing footage of the quarterback, taking no credit for the footage of the quarterback, just sharing that footage of the quarterback. And on a lot of my videos, putting this video belongs to the NFL, da-da-da-da-da. I was just using it as B-roll, which I've been editing B-roll and doing that stuff since college. So I'm doing something that's normal and I get flagged. Yet there's stuff that I see that I wonder how it makes it. And I'm just happy that everybody's okay in this, but I have a lot of questions. Where did this guy get a helicopter? How can I get one? But no, where did this guy get a helicopter? And, you know, doing these things maybe because you want to be an action movie director, or maybe just because you want people to pay attention to you. And I feel like in a world of creating, I ask people today, are you creating something, or are you just begging for someone to pay attention to you? Because I don't do wake-up calls so that people pay attention to me. I do wake-up call because I like to bring people together, because I love to tell stories, because I love to learn about people. I like to make my world small. I like to show positivity and comedy and humility and grace and community and connection. I like to show people that there's a place where, equality lives. It's not just talked about. So to me, there's a lot that goes behind the work that I do. And I'm not saying in this specific case that it doesn't, but there's things that you see on social media that you wonder, like, are people just doing these things so that somebody will click on it and like it? And what type of generation are we creating that really doesn't have to like anything intelligent or creative or pertinent to anything specific, just absent-minded things? I mean, is that what we want to do? Here's another story. A massive rare fish thought to only live in temperature waters in the southern hemisphere has washed up on Oregon's northern coast. The 7.3 foot, 2.2 meter hoodwinker sunfish. I caught a sunfish before. It was like this big. This is not. This is over 7 feet. First appeared on the beach in Gerhardt on Monday. The Seaside Aquarium said in a media release. It was still on the beach on Friday, may remain there for weeks, as it's difficult for scavengers to puncture its tough skin. Ew. Scavengers? What is this, Star Wars? Photos provided by the aquarium. I just think about the scavengers when you land, when you're at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios in Disney, when you finally land in your pod and there's like those scavengers taking stuff. Photos provided by the aquarium showed a flat, round gray fish lying on a person kneeling next to it, and another of a pickup truck parked next to it gave a sense of its large scale and size. This is crazy. This apparently prompted a New Zealand-based researcher who has studied sunfish to contact the aquarium. After looking at photographs of the fish, Marianne Nygaard was able to confirm that it indeed was a hoodwinker sunfish, rarer than the most common ocean sunfish, and said she believed it may be the largest such fish ever sampled, according to the aquarium. In research published in 2017, Nygaard discovered, through genetic sampling and observation, that the hoodwinker sunfish, or Mola tecta, was a different species than the ocean sunfish, Mola mola. Tecta in Latin means hidden or disguised, referring to a new species that had been hiding in plain sight. Horrifying. So hoodwinker also washed ashore on the California coast in 2019. It has washed ashore again more recently in California and Alaska, challenging the theory that it only lives in the southern hemisphere. It's also likely the fish has washed ashore in other parts of the Pacific Northwest, but was mistaken for a more common ocean sunfish. Would you all like to see a picture? Because I have one for you. This thing is massive. Can I click on this? This thing is... Oh my lord. Is that its open mouth with the sand? Look at that. Can you see that? Take that in. Okay. I had a sunfish. I could hold it in my hand. Look at the truck that's next to it. Look at that. That's insane. Oh, that's insane. And I feel bad that it passed away. Like, look at that. It looks like it's got a bite mark on it. That's sad. But yeah, they have these things wash up. Why is it an annoying moment? One, I'm sad that it passed away. Two, they say that, we're out here looking through space. And we're trying to find things in space. Because we want to know if aliens exist. When some people have stated that what's in our oceans, no matter how much we dig, no matter how much we look, we will never find everything because we can't go to the depths of the ocean. That there are things in the ocean that are hidden to us. Things that we may never know about, and things that come out when there's that shifting of the plates, and they say sometimes with shifts and different things that are happening with the earth and the earthquakes and the tectonic plates and all that stuff, that when things are happening and there are these like moves and these shifts, that they could essentially like open up a cave, that like there's some fish or some species or different things in the water that over time, let's say they're swimming here doing this and that, and then a rock comes over it and closes them in, and they don't die because they can live in the water. And there's got to be food somewhere. But that when this thing opens up, that there is this essentially opening of a cave to release whatever's in there. So people have like jokingly, but maybe not jokingly, said that there could be a kraken down there. A kraken. Do you know what a kraken is? It's that like mythological, massive, crazy looking octopus. A kraken. It's been in movies like Pirates of the Caribbean. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, there's a part of me that thinks to myself, that would be cool. The kid in me is like, oh, that'd be awesome if there was a kraken. Then we could like, that'd be so cool. And, you know, like, because it's in the movies and it would be like real. And then there's this other part of me that's like, yeah, it would be cool as long as it doesn't like eat people. So, because the kraken in the movies is terrifying. You know what I mean? Like when it's kind of like being like, well, you know, people watch Marvel movies and they don't want Thanos to be real. But if Thanos was real, there's a part of you that would be like curious, like, oh, how did he come to be? Oh, what is this all about? And then you'd have to remind yourself that he's not great, right? So finding this fish, interesting. Also, a little terrifying. And I mean, it's massive. It's a big fish. Here's another thing for us here. This isn't an annoying moment of the week. I just want to mention this. 23 sets of twins graduated from a single school in Massachusetts, a middle school. That's insane. 23 sets of twins. Do you know that in my lifetime, I have met two sets of identical twins. 2. That's it. Beautiful women. Absolutely beautiful women. Some in high school, some in college. My annoying moment of the week is that I didn't go on a date with any of those 4 women. Sad face. That's my annoying moment of the week. See, I had to talk about the twins in order to bring you to my pain. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there are crazy stories that are happening all over the place. And some of them get here in the annoying moment. Some are just massively disturbing. And there is one that I would like to share with you because I want you to check it out. We have another show on Wake Up Call. We have many shows, or pardon me, not on Wake Up Call, on Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Besides Wake Up Call, we have other shows. One of them is entitled Two Mics, No Filter. We just did a new episode. It is airing on Facebook. It's going to be added to YouTube and to audio on a bunch of podcasting platforms. You can search us on Facebook and Instagram at Two Mics, No Filter. That's at 2, spelled out, Mics, M-I-C-S, No Filter. So make sure you check that out. You can also find us on youtube.com/at Two Mics, No Filter. The @ sign, Two Mics, No Filter. So make sure that you do that. But we were talking about these crazy dating stories that I found on the internet, and Andrea didn't know anything about it. So I read them to her in real time of our taping of the show, and she just reacted in the moment. Then I read some that I hadn't read, so I got to react to the moment. One of them that I have to put in the annoying moment of the week is there was a guy that went on a first date with a girl that said some weird stuff in her ear that I'm not going to repeat. You can go and watch it on the show. But he sat next to her and rubbed her leg with a butter knife. And it sounds hilarious, but if you're that woman it was probably outrageously disturbing to have somebody I mean, think about that. With a butter knife, so I guess he thought, like, I can be kinky but safe. And why? You know what I mean? I'm going to rub her with a butter knife so that I don't cut her with a real knife. I want to tell her that I'm down to play, but I also want to be telling her that I'm all about safety first. I mean, what type of man? And all I can say to the women out there looking for a good man, please stop dating the knuckleheads, because by the time you find a good man, you punish us. And that's not fair. And that is a true annoying moment of any week. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. These have been the annoying moment of the week. Many annoying moments. I call them scoops because they're from Carvel. So the annoying moments, your scoops today, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. If you would like to not have an annoying moment and just go have something that's delicious and happy and fun and make a memory, go to Carvel DeWitt. That's how we always spin the annoying moments to a positive. Head to Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York today. They're open 7 days a week and all throughout the year, no matter what the weather is. So make sure you get out there today and try my very own sundae, the DT Dolphin, as a connection with the Lemoyne Dolphins. It is mint chocolate chip ice cream, green for the Dolphins, of course, hot fudge, whipped cream, and a cherry, topped off with green and gold sprinkles for Lemoyne, and a chocolate dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. That sundae is only available on site, on location at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. We'll be back from the Heritage Hill Studios in just a moment, right after this. Really, a butter knife? Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And thank you for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as well as going out and visiting our studio partner and having some fun out there at Heritage Hill Brewhouse in Pompey on Sweet Road, out in the country, as well as at their newest location, Heritage Hill North on 628 South Main Street in the city area of our central New York. And you can find them on right there at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, our home for our CNS North Stars broadcast. So make sure you head out to Heritage Hill Brewhouse in Pompey, Heritage Hill North in North Syracuse. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. We are now on to Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. This segment brought to you proudly by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic for Lead, when you don't have the answer. What do you do when you don't have the answer? I've been dealing with this recently. Something that I had never experienced. And you don't have the answer. What do you do? Because if you're like me and you're going through something and you don't have an answer, you seek it. Some people don't have an answer to something and they just keep going. You know, they say, okay, I don't have the answer. If God wanted me to know the answer, he'll let me know the answer. And they just keep rolling on. And there's people like me who will say, trying to be better at saying, okay, God will help me find the answer, but I'll go look for the answer. I'll try to find the answer. What do you do when you don't have it? What do you do when the only thing you have is silence? When you don't have a closure moment to something. We've all been through something in our lives where there's been no closure. There has been no answer to our question, no rhyme to the reason, no end to the discussion. Just a whole lot of what happened, how did it happen, how come I don't know, what's going on. And we live in a society today where ghosting is a normal thing. Where friends, employees, and romantic relationships end on nothing. They just end. No rhyme or reason, no sense. They just end. And I think that that's even, and maybe a desensitized world. That we don't conversate with people about things. Now, have I left situations open-ended? Yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you say, well, Dan, you're a hypocrite. I'm going to tell you why I did what I did. I had taken somebody, and she could be watching right now because apparently I got in trouble because she watched one of my videos and she didn't like what I said on my show freely. I had taken a girl out on a date. And before I had taken her on the date, this had happened a little while back. Before I had taken her out on the date, her and I had been talking, and she misinterpreted something, and she judged me, and she condemned me, and she like went from everything pointed to yes to I can't talk to you anymore, and I had no idea what was going on. When I talked to her about it, it turns out that she had assumed something. My father always said, don't assume. My father still says that to this day, because it makes a blank out of you and me, and a blank blank out of you and me. Don't assume. And she assumed something. She was wrong. I told her what it really was. She apologized. And then she's like, oh, okay, I want to talk to you. And I just remember thinking to myself, I don't really like being around somebody who's going to judge me and not know. So, to this specific person, I gave another chance to. She was watching one of my broadcasts, and I was playing rapid fire, as we do, with student athletes and professional athletes and coaches and administration and so on and so forth. So we were playing rapid fire, and in the rapid fire question, I had asked a coach, you and I are going to go to we're going to go somewhere. We're going to go travel somewhere. We got to go somewhere that you've never been before. Where do we go, and what 3 celebrities do we take? And at the time, I'm single. I had only brought this person on one date. She wasn't my girlfriend. I was getting to know her. And I said, where do we go, and who do we take? And I had said to him, and when she wrote me a text message with caps and all kinds of crazy stuff in it, she not only misinterpreted me, but she misquoted me. She said that I said I needed a date. I didn't say that. I said who would be my date. And so I picked Jennifer Aniston. So keep in mind, it was a hypothetical story about a hypothetical trip that's probably never going to happen. And I said that I wanted to go on the trip with Jennifer Aniston. I talked to this woman after I did the show, and she was different. And I talked to her on the phone, and she was different. And we hung up, and I called up my buddy, and I said, I'm telling you right now, I know what's going on. I feel like I know that she's upset, and I'm telling you right now, this is what she's upset with because she misinterpreted it. It's probably this. And she ends up sending me a long message at 11 o'clock at night about all these things that I said that I didn't say, or about misinterpreting me. And so we talking about ghosting, right? So I stopped talking to her. When she sent me those messages, I didn't defend myself because I wasn't going to keep defending myself because I don't need to. And I didn't do anything wrong. And everything that she was claiming I did not do. I honestly was just joking around, having fun, talking about a trip that's never going to happen. But apparently this woman has trust issues. And so I looked at the messages. I said, wow, this is really ridiculous. I'm not going to respond to it. She sends me a message a couple days later and says, I can't believe that you wouldn't even respond to me, and referred to me as being a coward. And what I've realized with some people is when they don't have an answer or they don't get the answer they want, they will attack you. I go back in time a few months to a girl that I had hung out with. We didn't even go on dates. We just kind of hung out a few times. And I thought her and I were getting to know each other. I thought we were going to start dating exclusively. And she flirted with a guy right in front of me. And it was like blatant and deliberate and continuous. And so I left. All I did was walk away. I didn't say anything. I didn't disrespect anybody. I didn't cause a scene. I just got in my car and I left. And this turned into weeks of this woman sending me messages, text messages, and emails that were attacking me, attacking my character, and distorting what happened. claiming you did this and you did this and you did this and you did that, when in actuality, she to this day, unless she's watching right now, has no idea what I was upset about. Because it was all about her. All the messages were about, I'm upset about this, and I'm upset about this, and I'm upset about this, and this is what you think, and this is that. And she totally misinterpreted the situation. But when I wasn't answering, she continued to attack me, just like this girl did. And I've realized with some people, when you do something towards someone that cares about you and you attack them, especially early on, when you're not even in a relationship, what that tells me as a man who actually values myself, and I had to learn to do that. As a man who values myself, I'm not going to allow for there to be a scenario where someone gets to do mean things to me or speak for me or condemn me or tell me who I am. I'm not going to sit in that environment. So no matter how much I may care about you, I can't control what you say and do, but I can control if I'm there for it. And if it continues, I mean, eventually the one girl stopped after weeks of just attacking me and writing me long messages about the disrespect and about the this and about the that. She to this day doesn't even recognize the fact that she flirted with somebody in front of me. And it's fine that she did it because it helped me see who she was and it provided me the opportunity to not waste my time. But she thought it had to do with all these other things and it didn't. And why am I telling these stories today? Why am I being very open and honest? Because I'm an open and honest person. But why am I telling you these stories today? Because I'm not for ghosting. But in those scenarios, those two women could say, well, you never responded to me, so you were ghosting me. No, I never responded to you because you misinterpreted me. You spoke for me. You told me who I was. You attacked me personally. You attacked my manhood. And I wasn't going to grovel, beg, defend, or take the verbal attacks from you. See, in dating, I learned a very long time ago that when a woman or a man, in my case a woman, is verbally attacking you, you do not have to sit there and listen to it. And now I've made mistakes and other people have made mistakes. We've all made our mistakes. But what I realized was back in the day when somebody would fight, I would fight and go back and forth. They say something, I say something. They say something, I say something. I say something, they say something. And all that does is stress you out. It hurts you. It makes you into a person that you don't want to be. And it makes you sad. Because at the end of the day, you never feel good about it, right? If somebody got me angry enough to swear or call someone a name, I would end up sitting there feeling bad about it. I don't feel good about it. No matter how many names. One girl called me like 40 different names. So I got upset enough to call her one name. And she said, now that you've called me that, we're even. I said, what do you mean we're even? I owe you so many more names to be even. She said, no, you don't normally swear and call me names. So now that you called me one name, you and I are even. Because you know that I swear and I yell or whatever. And I thought that that was insane. And so I've learned over time that when somebody early on, when their knee-jerk reaction is not to talk with you or try to understand you, but it's to attack you, to challenge you, and not in a good way, but to attack you, to speak for you, and to condemn you, those people don't deserve your time. So in those two instances where it looks like I ghosted someone, I didn't. I just was not going to put myself in a situation where I'm begging someone to know what type of human being I am, because I did nothing to show otherwise. If I'm wrong, I would have said something to them. If I did something mean, I would have said something to them. And I would have apologized and I would have wanted to sit down. But because both of those instances involved people misinterpreting and speaking for me and then attacking me afterwards and then challenging my strength as a human being, I don't feel like you should have to answer to those people. I don't think you should have to answer to anybody, but you definitely, in my opinion, don't have to answer to people that continue to attack you. And what was going to happen? The one girl maybe apologizes, but she flirted with that guy right in front of me, so she showed me what type of human being she was. So whether she apologized or not, I was never going to trust her again. And the other girl, she had already apologized once for jumping the gun and assuming something. So she had shown me a pattern. And what do they say? The first time somebody does something, it can be a coincidence. The second time they do it, it's a habit. The third time they do it, it's a lifestyle. So this girl had already shown me she'd done it twice, which means it's a habit. And if she did it one more time, she showed me this is her lifestyle. What did she really show me? That she didn't trust men. And I was just going to be constantly going through challenges because of other men. And that's not fair. So, I mean, we're talking real here on Wake Up Call, and we always do. And it's where sports meets life. So some people might say, Dan, why aren't you talking about sports? Because people that, okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. Basketball players, they deal with relationship stuff. Football players, they deal with relationship stuff. Field hockey players, soccer players, volleyball players, lacrosse players, they deal with relationship stuff. The reality of it all is there's a really good chance that somebody that watches and listens to the show that I've interviewed as a student athlete, professional athlete, or coach, they've dealt with this. They've dealt with this with their team. They've dealt with this with their players. They've dealt with this with their kids. They've dealt with this themselves. And the conversations need to be had. Because a lot of times with the topic we're talking about today in lead, when you don't have the answer, it's because somebody just shut you off. So if either of those women are watching the show today, now you have the answer. One, I didn't talk to you because you flirted with somebody in front of me and completely disrespected me, on top of other things. The second person, you assumed wrong the first time, shame on you. You assumed wrong the second time. If I had let that continue, shame on me. That's why you never heard from me again. Not because I'm a hateful man, and not because I ghosted you, but because you got mad over something that you misinterpreted, misquoted, misrepresented, and it was about a fake trip in a fake scenario that's never going to happen. You literally got mad over something that's not even going to occur. So what would you do if I had a girl that I was friends with? You know? If you can't trust me in a hypothetical situation that's never going to happen in a fake fantasy world, what are we fighting about? I'm not going to fight with someone over something that's never going to happen. I'm not going to fight with somebody over something that is going to happen. If you're going to date somebody, that needs to be your partner. You have to work together. And in today's society, and the annoying moment of the week, again, connects to lead as it does so many times seamlessly, and I don't do this on purpose. It's God's work, in my opinion, that these always link back to each other. I talked in the annoying moment of the week, presented by Carvel, DeWitt, about people being desensitized. And in lead, presented by Chick-fil-A, Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, when you don't have the answer, a lot of that has to do with ghosting. How many times has somebody said, not just me, people, everything's going well. I'm getting to know this person. I think that we're going somewhere. And then they just disappear. They're just gone. And it's one of the sickest things that you can do to a human being. Because when you disappear, and in a case that happened to me recently, this person disappeared after they said they were going out on a boat. So now I'm thinking, my mom who's invested, she's thinking, is this person stranded somewhere? Are they out in the water? Are they okay? Are they safe? And then this person's had scares with like medical stuff before. So then we're thinking like, did they get sick again? Did something happen? Is there a complication medically? So now we're worried, when in actuality, it could be nothing. It could be that this person just decided to be a jerk. And you got a bunch of people worried about you that you don't care about. So in life, we're not always given the answer. I don't know to this day why mosquitoes exist. I know that spiders eat them, but I don't know why they exist. They spread disease. They bite you. They spread blood. It's gross. They make you itch. And I don't see what their point is to society. And one of the questions that I will ask God when, God willing, I am back in heaven someday after a very long and beautiful, wonderful life that I hopefully pass away in my sleep at 100-something years old. When I'm done here and God calls me home, I hope, one of the questions that I'm going to ask God is why he created mosquitoes. Because I don't understand. Thinking about them is making me itch right now. I'm literally itching my leg and my arm because I'm thinking about it. So there's things that we're never going to have an answer to. But what is really unfair is when you invest in someone and they've invested in you. And then they disappear. And this doesn't just happen romantically. This happens with friends. I remember one of my friends, we were friends for like a couple years in high school. And I felt close to him like a brother. And I said to him before he left my house, I said, hey man, I just want you to know how much you mean to me. And I can't remember everything I said, but I told him I love him. Like family. Not romantically, like family. I said, I love you. That was the last time that he came to my house. And we never really talked after that. He was weird after that. You know, I was like, hey, I love you. I feel like we're close. And that pushed him away. I've talked to business owners that have trained people who have gone through 2 weeks of training. And on the first day of the job, they don't show up. And they don't answer the phone. So then they call the phone number from a different number and then they answer the phone. And then they don't know what to say. Why would you go through training and then not show up? These people go through training and then never show up to their job. They quit their job without even really starting their job and they don't say anything. Because we become desensitized. We put a term on it. Normally when a term gets put on something, that means that we're concrete putting it into society. It's not just that people disappear. We're going to call it ghosting now. Ghosting in business, ghosting in friendships, ghosting in romantic relationships. Why would you do that to somebody? Especially when you have claimed to be invested in that person. And that person has done nothing but show you positivity. And in my case, I asked questions on things that I didn't understand on a person that seemed like they were in, they were out. So I tried to understand where they were and where they were coming from. And one of the last things that I said to them was like, how come when I say this, like how come when I get deep or I get like into emotion, it seems like you change the subject to something trivial. And I didn't say it in a mean way. I didn't say it in a swearing way. I just said like, am I seeing this? Is this actually happening? Or is it just something that I'm seeing? And they're like, no, I'm not doing that on purpose. And I said, are you sure? Because like there's been instances and I just want to know because I've been clear with them. I'm 38 years old. I'm not wasting my time. If you're not interested in me, that's totally fine. But if you are interested in me, I am interested in you. And if you are interested in me back, then that's how I go forward. If at some point you lose interest, you need to tell me so that I can move on. Because I've had people waste my time before to the tune of years. And I don't think that that's fair. And I don't think that that's kind. When you don't want to be with somebody, then don't be with somebody. Friendship, romantic, business. See, I don't believe in the wasting of time. Have I wasted my own time? Yes, I have. And I consider that a sin. And I've asked God forgiveness for that. I believe that wasting time is a sin. Because you can't get that back. So when you have time, you have to be very, people don't know certain things, but like I'm past the age of my parents when their fathers passed away. Last year, I was the same age as my mom and dad when my grandfathers passed away. So I don't go around talking about it, but in your heart, you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is the age. Like I'm a kid. I'm 37 years old at the time. I'm thinking I'm barely on this earth. And this is when my parents had their dads pass away. And so I'm looking at my dad and my mom going like, I can't even imagine being this young and that happening. And I have friends. I have a friend that had a quadruple bypass, multiple stints with cancer. And he's still here. God bless him. But for people to kind of be selfish and only think about what's going on in their lives and not understand what's going on in somebody else's life. When you meet a good person and you're attracted to that person, you like that person, you want to be around that person, for you to disrespect that person because of what's going on in your life, that's fine. There's stuff going on in your life, that's fine. But to think that there's nothing going on in somebody else's life is not fair. And I think, we're in these situations where people get very consumed with themselves and they don't provide answers, which is why people ask questions like myself, like I did in this conversation, saying like, hey, why did you change the subject? I live in a world where I am purposeful with my actions. So if I have an action that I don't think serves a purpose or I don't think it's good, then it's on me to not continue that action. And leaving people in silence leaves them with great pain. And I have felt that personally. When you ghost someone as an employee, when you ghost someone, I had somebody that was an intern for me that didn't show up for weeks. And then the company I worked for hired her full time. They promoted her for doing nothing, literally. They promoted her for not after she didn't show up, they gave her a raise. They gave her a real, not even a raise, they gave her a real job. They brought her from, you're doing this as an intern, to now you're a paid employee. She never had to apologize for what she did to me. She left me without a producer for my show for weeks. Never had to do anything for that. Never had to apologize. I was never even asked about by the company about her. They just hired her. And then she treated me like I had done something wrong to her. How dare I ask her to come to work when she's supposed to be there? So I've witnessed people ghosting in business. I've witnessed people ghosting in friends, and I've witnessed people ghosting romantically, personally for myself and for other people. You hear that crazy story about like people that were married for like 30 years. They wake up in the morning, there's a note that says, I don't love you anymore, and they're gone. 30 years. Insane. There's kids out there whose parents leave in the middle of the night when they're kids, and they don't even know why. And then that parent goes and makes another family with somebody else and sticks around for those kids. And those people are traumatized, trying to understand why they weren't enough for their parent, but that their parent could have other children and that could be fine. There's so many things that happen that we don't have the answer to. So where do you go? And in my opinion, you go to God. When you don't have the answer, because your mom's not going to have the answer, and your dad's not going to have the answer, and your brother's not going to have the answer, your sister's not going to have the answer, your friend's not going to have the answer. When somebody does something, the only person that has the answer to why they did what they did is that person. And the sad thing about today's society, and society over the years, but now maybe more prevalent because people are desensitized, when you don't have an answer, it can eat you alive. So I ask you that when you don't have the answer, you make God the answer. When you don't have the answer, you go to God. You go to the Bible, you go to church, you go to synagogue, you go to temple. You go to God. You pray. I'm 38 years old, and the only thing that has consistently worked is praying to God, talking with God, crying with God, laughing with God, seeking God's word, being around God, being in God's home, welcoming God into mine. That is the only thing that has ever worked. It is the only thing that has ever worked. And I would not be the man that I am today, and I wouldn't have healed from the things that I've healed from if not for the belief that when I don't have the answer, God is always the answer. Because you're not going to get an answer to every question that you have. You're just not. And even if you got the answer, who would say that the answer is good enough? You know, when somebody cheats on somebody, they always are like, I want to know why. What's that going to do? If somebody told you why they cheated, would it make it better? You know what I mean? Well, I cheated on you because you don't pay attention to me. Okay, well, not paying attention to that person may be a problem. That still doesn't give somebody a right to do that. There's no right to cheating, ever. But we're like, well, we need the answer. We need the answer. What if somebody said, I cheated on you because you're fat? Would that make you feel better? I cheated on you because you let yourself go. I cheated on you because you changed your hair color. I cheated on you because you don't have a six-pack anymore. You know what I mean? Like, would that make somebody feel better? No, it would make you feel worse. We're not going to have the answers to all the questions that we have. But I think we need to start understanding that when people disrespect you, they don't even have a right to ask the question. And you should care more about yourself than even seeking that. The last time that somebody disappeared after a bunch of positivity, I wrote a message to them saying, I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, this isn't even about me. I just want to know that you're all right. I have no idea what happened. I was talking to you, then I haven't been. I thought everything was cool. So I just want to make sure you're okay. I've been saying prayers for you and your family. Just let me know that you're okay. And if you can't answer to that, then there's something inside of you that I don't want to know. I mean, for goodness sakes, if someone's praying for you, just want to know that you're okay, and you're still disappearing, I pray that whatever is broken heals, because you're spitting on good people. If somebody that I wasn't interested in or didn't want to be friends with or didn't want to work with was like, hey, you disappeared and I just want to know you're alive. I just want to know you're okay. I just want to know that, you know, I don't have to keep worrying about you. I would be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. You know, the fact of the matter is when push comes to shove, if somebody wants the truth from me, you're going to get the truth from me because I'm not a liar. And I don't believe in hurting people. And I especially don't believe in hurting people because you got hurt. But they say hurt people hurt people. People who were hurt continue to hurt others. And you have to break that chain. You have to break that chain. Just like they say people that were abused abuse others. People that hurt others. You have to break that chain. And taking a good person, giving them hope, and then disappearing, it's worse than looking that person in the eye and telling them that you hate them. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you folks that you're going to have the answer to every question you have, because you're not. But when you don't have the answer, go to God. Because God is way better than humanity. God is more consistent than humanity. And God will give you a level of peace. And somehow, I don't know how to describe it, but God will always help you to get out of whatever you're in. If you trust humanity to get you out of it, sometimes they'll help and sometimes they won't. If you trust God, there is not a single thing in your life you can't handle. Remember that. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. We're going to take a step aside. We'll be back with the top dog of the week right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. It's time for us to jump into the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by the fantastic people at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Definitely want to thank them for all the work that they do. The only place that I trust to have your dog for short and long-term care. Thanks to Lorraine and Chad and the team. K9 Camp Dog Daycare, located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, across the street from BJ's Wholesale Club. You will find K9 Camp Dog Daycare. You can call them at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. And go to K-9Kamp.com. You can also go to K9 Kampground for longer-term care, where each dog gets their own cabin, and that is on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, right down the road from K9 Camp Dog Daycare. And the campground phone number is 315-299-4013. If you know when you need to have your dog boarded, and it's down the road, it's 3 months from now, 4 months, 5, whatever, call today, because they do fill up fast. K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, 315-299-4013. And you can go to Kamp, ground.com. The number, once again, 315-299-4013. So make sure you get in touch with them today. My top dogs of the week, everybody out there fighting up against cancer. Those are my top dogs. I have, fortunately, met some amazing people in my life. And unfortunately, I have also had to hear about, not unfortunately in the sense of like, I'm not fortunate to have met them, but sadly to find out that these people, have battled with cancer or are battling with cancer. People that get through it, and maybe it comes back, maybe it doesn't. Hopefully it doesn't. But I want to give you a shout out today. I want to shout you out today. I want to shout you out every single day. If you are right now in the hospital getting chemo, I'm here. If you're getting radiation, I'm here. Not going anywhere. I am praying for you. I am hoping for you. You are not alone. I know you may feel like you're alone. I know some of you might question the existence of God because of cancer, because of what's going on in this difficulty. And I want you to stay strong, and I want you to stay positive. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. And I pray that I never have to go through it myself, and I pray that nobody has to go through it. But I want to thank you for your fight. I want to thank you for your determination. I want to thank you for your drive. I want to thank you for doing what you can to get better. And I want you to know that you're not by yourself. I pray it doesn't happen ever again to somebody it's happened to. I pray everybody heals. I pray that I pray that people that don't have cancer never get it, myself and my loved ones included. And I pray that anybody that has cancer gets rid of it and never has it again. It is so hard to fathom. You know, cancer is one of those things. There's so many different kinds, right? And the fact that we haven't found cures to them is sad. It's frustrating. The fact that you have to put poison in your body to get poison out of your body is insane to me. But we talked about it last week in the annoying moment of the week, that how can we have all these drug companies that create these drugs to try and help us that have side effects that are worse than the thing that it's trying to help us with. So we just take the thing that we have and try to deal with it because we might have a migraine, but we don't want internal bleeding and suicidal thoughts. So we're not going to take those pills. We say that we're industrialized. We say that we're smart. We say that we're advanced and evolved, but we care more about artificial intelligence than we care about curing cancer. What are we doing? What are we doing? You know, we care more about a robot that can bring us a cup of coffee while we sit on our butt than we care about finding something besides chemo and radiation so that we don't have to put these chemicals and this stuff in our body. I appreciate the people that work in the medical field for the right reasons. I appreciate the people that are trying to find cures. And to the people that use someone's health as an opportunity to make money, that's shameful. Somebody who uses someone's health as an opportunity to control them, that is shameful. And I am not a judge. God is my only judge. So I shouldn't even use the word shameful. I would just say I think it's wrong. I think it's sad. So to my people out there that have had cancer and are praying to God that they don't have it, including somebody who's I might only be able to mention once on this show ever. So I'll call her A. To A, if I never talk to you again, I hope you don't have it. And if I do talk to you again, I hope you don't have it. Because it's inconsequential to me. I pray to God that you are healthy, you are safe, you are well, and that everything that you told me and the worries that you have, I pray to God that none of those worries come to fruition, none of those things happen, and that you are healthy in every single way, including cancer-free. To my good friends that have had it, to my friends that are fighting it right now, to my friend's mom who I sat with, who's become a friend to me, who's 10 years and hasn't had it and is finally off of her medication, praying to God she doesn't have it. People don't understand, even when you're cancer-free, You have to keep going back to the doctor. And every 3 months or every 6 months or every year, you have to just hope that you don't get that news again. You went through all this stuff, and it may come back. And in the case of one of my friends, he's gone all this time, it doesn't come back, then it comes back, then it doesn't come back, then it comes back. And there's got to be moments where he's just drained and feels like he doesn't have any energy left. And in those moments, I pray you go to God. I pray you go to the people that really love you. And to A, if you ever needed me, I already do love you, and I already would be there, without question. So Jerry said, I rely on God to help me keep a positive attitude because Jerry's been through stuff. So my top dogs of the week are my people that are fighting up against cancer or have fought against cancer. I don't call you survivors. I call you thrivers. Because surviving connects you to that, and it gives power to cancer. I am taking all the power from cancer and giving the power to you. You are a thriver. You keep going. You keep pushing. You're not surviving. You're living. And may it never take cancer or anything to challenge our life in order for us to truly live. May we all live our lives to the fullest, not waste each other's time, chase love, leave trauma in the past, and be willing to take the risk of something being really good in life. And if any of you are going through a tough time right now, including with cancer, I want you to know you are my top dogs of the week. I support you. I love you. I pray for you. I hope for you. And I know that God has your back. Even when you think he doesn't, I pray and I believe and I hope and I know that he's got your back. Keep your head up, my top dogs, and don't you ever think that you're alone. Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. We'll take a step aside from the Heritage Hill Studios, and we'll be back with Papa Joe right after this. Central New Yorkers, you can now enjoy the taste of Heritage Hill award-winning craft beers, seltzers, and a full bar at 3 locations. Spend your weekends at their beautiful location in Pompey with its amazing views, sunsets, family, and pet-friendly facilities, as well as extensive private event areas. Get their taps, tonics, and tastes in their brand new North Syracuse location at Sweetheart Corner in North Syracuse, New York. When flying in and out of Syracuse Hancock International Airport, make sure to visit their Palladino Farms location. At Heritage Hill, they believe in supporting our community and are excited to now meet you where you're at and where you're going with their local farm-raised tastes. Find out more information at heritagehillbrewery.com. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to K9 Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see K9 Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And it is now time to do what we do when we cover the Jacksonville Jaguars on Wake Up Call. It is called On the Prowl. And so with that, we bring you there. Call with Dan Tortora. I love that intro, love that video, loved putting it together. I think it took me like 4 hours to do that, or a few hours to put all those pieces together, and the music and the Jaguar growl and all that good stuff, but absolutely positively worth it in my coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, and I am back with Papa Joe. And you think to yourself, wasn't he just on Thursday? Isn't Thursday Papa Joe's day? It is. It is absolutely PJ's day. But there is, and I said this to him yesterday, there was no better person to have on the show today to talk about this news than Papa Joe. I could not come on the air and discuss this without PJ, because Papa Joe down in North Florida, covering the Jaguars, paying attention to the Jaguars, and being so knowledgeable about what's going on with the Jaguars and having his ear to the ground right there by Jacksonville, it didn't make sense to come here and have this good news and not ask Papa Joe to come back and talk about it. Speaking on Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence's contract extension is PJ. PJ, back on Wake Up Call today. Papa Joe, how we doing?
Good. Good news last night, and Baby gave me a heads up, gave me a chance to do a little research and jot some notes down and talk for a little while this morning, but it's all right.
Yeah, very excited about this. Trevor Lawrence, and you had prognosticated this actually on the show. You talked about 5 years, $200 million, and you are right on the nose, as this is 5 years. This contract is actually 5 years, and it is $275 million, but $200 million guaranteed. So Papa Joe hit it right on the nose. 5 years, he was correct. $200 million is what's guaranteed of the $275. So how does it feel, PJ, that you properly predicted the contract of Trevor Lawrence?
I was going to call him up and get 10%.
You should. So, he gets the contract, 5 years, $275 million extension. Obviously, he is going into the fourth year of his rookie contract. He was drafted in 2021. He's in year 4. They did pick up the option for year 5. So this contract extension adds 5 years onto his rookie contract, giving him $275 million within the contract, but $200 million guaranteed. 142 of the $200 million he is getting at the signing of the contract. PJ, your thoughts about that signing bonus, that initial money that you get just by writing your name? Of the $200 million coming to Trevor, 142 comes with him writing his name. Did you ever think that a signature of a name would be worth $142 million?
Of course not, but they realize that this kid is going to be their future, and they've got to pay him accordingly. Especially what's happened in the last several months about the quarterbacks being signed. What surprised me is just 142, definitely, because even though he's a good quarterback, he's not a great quarterback. He's got problems. Of course, he's got problems. He's got too many turnovers. He's got too many interceptions, too many injuries. But it's a good risk, and apparently Shad Khan realized that, hey, if Pedersen wants this guy for him for the next 5 years, then we got to have him. Of course, it's not going to start until 26, so he's got another year to play to go on the other one. 26 and 30, a hell of a lot of money, Daniel.
Yeah, and knowing that, he's got 5 years in this rookie contract with the extension picked up, and that this is going to bring him to 10 years, we'll know that outside of any move that would be made, he is going to be the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars for at least a decade. What are your thoughts on that?
I liked it. I'm happy. I'm happy that it's settled. Unfortunately for Trevor, he had a miserable experience with Meyer the Liar, and I think that really set him back, really. I not physically, but mentally. I think that really knocked him upside the head. And it took a lot by Pedersen to bring him out and have him play the way he knows he can play. And so he started writing the offense for him, and we see the result. Although the record isn't that great. I mean, come on, we got to admit it here. Last year he was a little over 4,000 yards, 21 TDs, 14 interceptions, 35 sacks, injuries. He's a good risk, but he's also a risk. And I just want our fans to know that even though we're pro Jacksonville and pro Trevor and pro Pedersen and Jaguars and everything, this guy comes with a risk.
Yeah, and I mean, speaking here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios on the news of the extension of Trevor Lawrence as the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like you said, it's a risk, but it's a calculated risk. Of the quarterbacks that Jacksonville has had since Mark Brunell, we look at, Byron Leftwich and David Garrard, as well as Blaine Gabbert, Gardner Minshew II, Blake Bortles. Of the quarterbacks that Jacksonville has had in between Mark Brunell to now, where do you regard Trevor Lawrence?
Well, he has to be one notch below Mark Brunell. I mean, he's going to be the future. And Brunell, even though he was a little different and played left-handed and rolled out and threw little baby passes, and Mark Brunell was a winner. And that's what I think that Trevor Lawrence wants to ascribe to do. Even though his record is only 20 wins and 30 losses, that don't blow my shirt up, but he's still got the potential to do that. And now they got to figure out what to do with Etienne. They still got to work on the receivers. They got tight ends. They got their offensive line. Defense is a killer. So, this should be the year. And we always say this, of course, every year. This should be the year that they flower, and hopefully they'll bloom.
Well, and that's the thing, too. There's other people. I mean, a lot of times that I've been speaking about Jacksonville, I've been a fan since they came into fruition in 95. I was 9 years old. And becoming a fan of this team, I wanted my own squad. And so I got my own squad in the Jacksonville Jaguars, and a lot of people have laughed at this. And I don't care. It's never going to change me being a fan, whether you like it or not, because I didn't make the decision with you in mind anyways. And speaking to the people out there that have been negative. But some people came up to me last season, going into 2023-24, and they said to me, hey, this is the Super Bowl year. Y'all can go to the Super Bowl. And I kept my mouth shut. I said, I am not going to predict that and prognosticate that. I'm going to see what they do, and I'm going to watch. As a broadcaster, I'm impartial. As a broadcaster, I've never told you Jacksonville is going to win every single game if I didn't think they were going to win every single game. And I've already been clear that the Houston Texans could be a potential juggernaut, not just in the AFC South this season, but in the AFC and in the NFL as a whole. So I am a fan. and I am an impartial broadcaster. As a fan, I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm always going to love my Jaguars. As an impartial broadcaster, I believe that Trevor Lawrence should be the quarterback of this team. He wears number 16, and I said he should be the quarterback of Jacksonville for no less than 16 years. And for some reason, that number just, not because of his jersey, it kind of ironically fit, but something inside of me was like, I don't want to see him in another jersey ever in the NFL. He's 6'6". You can't teach that. He won in high school. He won in college. He knows what it's like to be in a high-octane situation. The college football playoff is no slouch. And being at Clemson is one of the top programs of the last decade plus in college football. Coming to Jacksonville, you have to remember that no matter what you think Trevor Lawrence has not done right, you have to look at what has happened. Trevor Lawrence came onto a team that had the number 1 overall pick. After the 2020-21 season, the Jacksonville Jaguars were the worst team in the NFL, 32 out of 32. After Trevor Lawrence's first year, they were still the worst team in the NFL, 32 out of 32, which gave them the number 1 pick again, which they took Trayvon Walker. Since he's been in Jacksonville, and this is only his 4th season, in the 3 seasons he's been there, he has aided with the coaching staff and the change to Doug Peterson and the defense getting better and special teams and everything. This is not just Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor is a part of this. In the time that he's been in Jacksonville, in 3 years, time, Trevor Lawrence has helped this team go from the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the basement of the NFL to a playoff team. And Papa Joe, I don't know a lot of quarterbacks that can take you from 32 out of 32 to the playoffs.
True, very true. You know, once after I finished speaking with you last night, I said, I just got to, I love to do the research because I love to tinker around and come up with things. So I pulled up a few sites and I decided that even though he's going to make this kind of money, I wanted to keep everyone abreast of what I feel the statistics for him are. Yeah. And I compared him to Jared Goff. Now they both came into the league in 21. As I stated earlier, Trevor Lawrence's record is 20-30. Goff's is 24-23. Their percentages, Goff's is 67%. Trevor's is 64%. Touchdowns, Goff has 78. Trevor has 58. Interceptions, Goff has 27. Trevor has 39. Yards per play, Goff 7.3. Trevor 6.7. Game-winning drives, Goff 8. Trevor 6. Rushing yards, thankfully, Goff's only 181. Trevor over 3 years, 964. But the telltale statistic here is the quarterback rating the last 3 years. I blame Pedersen a little bit, but I reiterate again. This kid took a whacking from Urban the Meyer the Lair.
Yeah.
He should have, a young kid, he should have never had to go through that. I don't know what the wherewithal of what happened, but Meyer usually does time someone into paying him ridiculous money, and then he imposes his will on a 23-year-old kid. I can't have that. So, Trevor, this is where we're at right here. You're up against the 5 best quarterbacks in the league, and Goff is right there. Goff's only 30 years old. Yeah. Trevor's 24. So, Goff has a big time team with him, and so do we. What I like about Goff and some of the other quarterbacks, and you've heard me bitch about this so many times over the years, get the ball down the damn field. Why do you think we're getting out hustled? We're getting out hustled. Give me a receiver that can get the ball. Brian Thomas will go up and get the balls. Ridley didn't want to do that. Kirk was hurt. It's a tough situation. You've got to go down the field, spread the field, stretch the field, get some long throws. You know, golf is going to win. He's like a gunslinger, and just coaches, and he's not afraid to call this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm looking for. He's got good statistics, not great statistics, but good statistics, and good enough to be talked within the last 5 quarterbacks that have signed, Burrow and Allen and the rest of these guys. So he just got to win, and I'm going to put that square on Patterson.
Yeah, we take a look at this once again, speaking with Papa Joe about the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence's extension here, as he has been extended out of his rookie contract to a 5-year contract, and that 5-year contract, $275 million with $200 guaranteed, $142 million at signing. Trevor Lawrence, again, like I said, was drafted onto a team that was the worst team in the NFL. In 2021, he was drafted onto this team. In 2021-22, they didn't make the playoffs. In his second season in the NFL, in 2022-23, they made the playoffs. From last to in the playoffs. And keep in mind, folks, in that season of 2022-23, the Jaguars lost 5 games in a row early in the season. They lost 5 in a row at Philadelphia, Houston, at Indianapolis, the Giants, and then overseas against Denver. They would lose 6 of 7 when they lost to Kansas City on the road 2 games later after beating Vegas at home. How did they respond to a 5-game losing streak and losing 6 of 7? They ended the season winning 5 in a row and winning 6 of 7. They literally went from losing 6 of 7 and 5 in a row losses to winning 6 of 7 with 5 in a row wins. Beating Tennessee on the road, Dallas in overtime at home. I was at that game. Beating the Jets on the road, beating the Texans on the road, and beating Tennessee at home to get into the playoffs. And I believe I was at that game. And I was at the game where they beat Baltimore by 1 point, 28-27. So when I go back and I look at these matchups, and I look at Jacksonville, and I look at what they've done, Trevor Lawrence did what some people think, and this team did what some people think is impossible, which is go from the worst team in the NFL to a playoff team. And think about this. A quarterback in his second season can endure losing 5 in a row and 6 of 7 and respond with his teammates on winning 5 in a row and 6 of 7. The team literally flipped the script. Literally flipped it from one to the other, from negative to positive, and made it into the postseason. Then they got a postseason win at home, and I was at that game, 31-30 against the Los Angeles Chargers. And then a couple mistakes, a couple moments could have flipped this one when they lost to Kansas City on the road in the playoffs by 1 touchdown, 27-20. So when you look at Trevor Lawrence and you look at what he's done in a short period of time, that was in year 2. Now, last year in year 3, there was a dip. But I want to tell people this. The offensive line, again, went through injury. Your starting left tackle was suspended the first 5 games, Cam Robinson. You look at the fact that Trevor Lawrence played injured, missed his first game in a million years, and played with a shoulder injury and an ankle injury. He should have been out. The high ankle sprain, I was thinking was going to keep him out 4 weeks. He continued to play. He played the next week. The shoulder injury, how his passes, it seemed like his deep ball was right on target, but his short game was where he struggled and he was sailing over people. That's atypical of Trevor Lawrence. So when you look at his statistics and go, well, he threw this interception and he overthrew this guy and he has a bunch of incompletions. If those happen in the last 4 weeks of the season, you got to look at his injury. You can't just say, oh, this is Trevor Lawrence playing like crap. This is Trevor Lawrence playing injured. So even some of these statistics don't adequately show because they don't put in parentheses, this happened when he was injured. This happened when he probably should have been sitting out. So Trevor Lawrence, what he did from rookie year to year 2 going to the playoffs, taking the worst team in the NFL to a playoff team, flipping losses into wins. And amidst all of that, the next season playing injured because he wanted to be out there, because he wanted to be a leader, because he didn't want to sit and watch. That says a lot to me. So Jacksonville paying this guy, absolutely. Taking care of it, 100%. I also want to let you know this statistically. Trevor Lawrence is 4th in Jacksonville Jaguars history in passing yards, and he's only 3 years in the NFL. Mark Brunell leads with 25,698. Blake Bortles, and Mark Brunell was with the Jaguars from 95 to 03. Blake Bortles is second all-time, 2014 to 2018 with 17,646 yards. David Garrard is third from 2002 to 2010 with 16,003 yards. Trevor Lawrence is fourth from 2021 to 23 in the shortest amount of time. And please keep in mind, because I've used these numbers before to support Blake Bortles and tell you that you really don't know how good Blake Bortles was for the Jaguars when you look at what he did in a short period of time. Well, in an even shorter period of time, we're looking at Trevor Lawrence with over 11,000 yards in 3 seasons with the Jaguars, 11,770. He has 58 touchdowns, which puts him in a place which is also 4th all-time. He's ahead of Byron Leftwich, who had 51, and he's behind Garrard with 89, Bortles with 103, and Mark Brunello with 144. Completion percentage-wise, we're looking at, I just want to make sure I'm going through here, because Jamie Martin was a backup. Jake Fielder played in 9 games. So looking at quarterbacks that played in double-digit games by the numbers here in Jaguars history, so someone who played at least 10 games, the highest completion percentage ever by a Jaguars quarterback who played in at least 10 or more games is Trevor Lawrence. He is the highest in history. 63.8% is better than Mark Brunell's 60.4. It's better than Blake Bortles' 59.3. It's better than David Garrard's 61.6. It's better than Byron Leftwich's 58.7. It's better than Chad Henney's 57.6. It's better than Gardner Minshew's 62.9. Trevor Lawrence has the best completion percentage in Jacksonville Jaguars history. So when you look at him by the numbers, and you think about this has only been 3 years, and you think about some of these statistics are affected by the fact that he played injured, you can't help but believe that Trevor Lawrence is in a trajectory to potentially become the leader in Jaguars history in all categories, positive-wise. Touchdowns, yards, and to think about the fact, Papa Joe, that he is the only quarterback in Jacksonville history to pass for at least 64% completion percentage of any quarterback that played at least 10 games. That says something in a big way.
It does, and it's but he's got to do better. He's got to do better. And the reason I say that again, not after what I just said about the statistic, the golf, is that we're in a division now where you've got some serious players now.
Yeah.
You got Will Levis. Okay, you know he's not going to be a slouch at all. You got Richardson from Indiana. We know he's going to be there, and you got C.J. Stroud. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but those 4 quarterbacks may be the 4 best cumulative-wise in the NFL going forward. I'd like to think that after watching C.J. Stroud last year, I can't believe this kid just did what he did. I mean, he just was amazing. So we have C.J., we have TL, Will Levis, Richardson. All 4 of these guys are going to be leading their team, which makes our job in Jacksonville that much more difficult because it's going to be tough to win the division based on these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. And, when we look divisionally and you talk about the quarterbacks and the talent, if you look to the AFC East, you can say Josh Allen and you could say Tua Tagovailoa, but I'm not going to say anybody from New England right now as they just drafted 2 rookies. We'll see how they do. The Jets might have Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. I hope that they do for Aaron's sake and for the team's sake. But that's a question mark. If healthy, yeah, that's a pretty good division. The AFC North, you boast of 2, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. In the AFC West, you boast of Pat Mahomes and Justin Herbert. In the NFC East, Dak Prescott is all over the place. I don't know if I would include him. New York's up in the air for the Giants. Philly, you got Jalen Hurts. And Washington, you got a rookie. In the NFC North, you got a rookie. You got Jared Goff. You got Jordan Love, who's been pretty good. In Minnesota, probably a rookie or Sam Darnold. In the NFC South, you have Kirk Cousins. We'll see how long that lasts. Carolina's up in the air. New Orleans is up in the air. Tampa Bay, Baker's had a resurrection of his career. In the NFC West, you have Kyler Murray. We'll see. He is talented, but can he be consistent? And can he help this team get to the playoffs? You have Matty Stafford with the Rams. You have the Niners with Brock Purdy. Seattle's Geno Smith's been pretty good. So in the AFC South, to your argument, you got a lot of youth. You have a guy going into his second season in Will Levis, a guy going into his second season, but really his first due to injury with Anthony Richardson, and a guy, C.J. Stroud, who could be the MVP of the NFL after being the offensive rookie of the year this past season, and you have Trevor Lawrence. So arguably, when you look at Trevor and you look at C.J. and Anthony and Will Levis, the hope of it, the hype of it, you can argue that they have two, if not three, but there's nobody in the NFL by division that has three that I would say concretely. And as I just went through all the divisions in the NFL, the 8 divisions, I told you in each division there's 2, 1, maybe 3. The AFC East could rival it if Aaron Rodgers is healthy. If you have Aaron Rodgers, Tua, and Josh Allen, I could say that arguably that's the best division of quarterback. But if the youth comes through in the AFC South, C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence, if they get one more guy to show up there in that division, then yes, your argument does have a lot of weight if that is to happen. So there's a lot to be said about the talent of the AFC South. There's a lot to be said about the fact that if this talent has longevity, they're all early in their careers. So if C.J. Stroud is around for more than a decade, and Trevor's around for more than a decade, and Anthony's around for more than a decade, and Levis is around for more than a decade, this could be a very highly regarded division when it comes to quarterback play. And that means, like you said, Trevor's got to kick it up a notch. I do want to make this note about Trevor as well. When you look at his 3 seasons, his rookie season, 3,641 yards. His sophomore season, 4,113 when they went to the playoffs. His junior season in the NFL, 4,016. His completion percentage the last 2 years, 66% or just shy of 66%. His touchdowns in the last 2 seasons, 46 to his interceptions, 22. The one thing that I can say, Papa Joe, of everything that I look at with Trevor Lawrence as we talk about him getting his extension, the one area that is of concern to me more than anything else is the fact that he needs to minimize these interceptions. Now, granted, some of these came, like I said, some of those passes came at the end of last season when he was injured and that shoulder injury, and he was trying to play through it, in my opinion. But if there's anything that I can circle and say Trevor's got to get better at this, it's at some of his decision-making and minimizing those interceptions.
That's true. That's true. With all being said, I think that realistically, I know it's too early for us to get into this kind of conversation, but realistically, if we were to go 9-8 or 10-7, I think we'd be very, very fortunate to do that.
Yeah.
Based on what we've said with these young players in this league, these young quarterbacks that are leading their teams. There's no doubt that any of these 4 players that we just mentioned, any of them can beat the other 4 at any time. There's not going to be a drop-off at all between them. Levis has got to pick it up, but I think he's going to be in a system where they can use his strength. So, you know, if God forbid something happens to any of these guys, especially Trevor, but, you know, I'll take 9-8 or 10-7 right now and hope to win a division.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the schedule that Jacksonville has this year, the Jacksonville Jaguars, speaking on the prowl here with Papa Joe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Heritage Hill Studios. The schedule this year for the Jaguars puts them on the road in southern Florida the first game of the season. They'll be at Miami. Then they're home against Cleveland. Then they're at Buffalo on Monday Night Football. Then they're at Houston. Then they have Indianapolis. Then they're over in London for Chicago and New England, where they will be playing rookie quarterbacks, both drafted in the top 3. You're going to see them go up against Caleb Williams in Chicago, and I would imagine Drake May in New England. Then they come home and play Green Bay. Then they're at Philadelphia, which is a tough place to play. Then you're in Minnesota. Then you're home against Minnesota. Then you're at Detroit, who I think is a really good team. Then you're home against Houston. Then you're at Tennessee. Then you have the Jets at home. Then you're at the Raiders out in Vegas. Then you play Tennessee at home. And then you play Indianapolis on the road to end the season. This is not an easy schedule for Jacksonville. And when you look at the quarterbacks that they're going to be going up against, as we talk about Trevor extending with Jacksonville, they have Tua, Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, God willing. Hopefully everything's good with him. Then you have Caleb Williams, Drake May, as I mentioned, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. Minnesota could be J.J. McCarthy, could be Sam Darnold. Jared Goff, C.J. Stroud again, Will Levis, Aaron Rodgers, hopefully, God willing. He'll be okay, God bless. Then you have Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell in Vegas. And then you have, again, Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. That is a tough, when you look at just quarterback, PJ, that is you got the Jordan Loves, the Jared Goffs, they don't have Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow this season, but you got some rookie guys and some second-year guys, but you're going to face Tua, you're going to face Josh Allen, you're going to face Aaron Rodgers, you're going to face Jordan Love, you're going to face Jalen Hurts. You're going to face Jared Goff. That's a tough schedule, PJ.
You bet it's tough. That's why I brought it up. These 4 quarterbacks in this division can lead their teams to beat anyone at any time. In the C.J. Stroud, I can't tell you how much was impressed about him last year, but
yeah.
This is just, we got the summer to go through, and we got plenty of things to talk about later, but this is a good start in acknowledging Trevor's importance to the team and his monetary gain, shall we say.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
Congratulations to Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars on doing what I was hoping that they would do. I was hoping that this was a conversation started 2 years ago at least, and that they're able to do what they need to do. And I said yesterday on the show, and I'll echo it again, before this decision was made, I said you got to take care of Trevor so then you can work on Travis Etienne Jr. Now the next step is getting Etienne. They've already re-signed Josh Allen. They've already re-signed Foye Oluokun. And keep in mind, Syracuse alum, defensive back, safety, Andre Cisco, this is his contract year from his rookie contract. So we're going to have to see if they re-sign him, which I'm hoping that they do. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Jacksonville on the prowl here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. PJ, as always, I appreciate you. I thank you. And I look forward to talking with you soon. And like I said, there was nobody better to talk to today as we celebrate something that you and I have spoken about for a while, which is Trevor Lawrence being with Jacksonville for a very long time.
Okay, good. Thanks up, bud.
All right, take care. That coming from Papa Joe here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll take our final step aside and we'll round out the show right after this. Inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we will be back after these messages from our fantastic partners.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Ave, and they are open 7 days a week for you to go in there and have some fun with your family, friends, coworkers, colleagues, and neighbors. You can head right off to GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Monday through Saturday open 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I implore you to go over there to GG Cards and Breaks and enjoy everything that they have to offer, from basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey, as well as... Did I say basketball? If I didn't say basketball, I'm saying basketball. Basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey, all sport, AEW, UFC. You also find Disney Lorcana and Pokemon while supplies last. So get yourself out there to enjoy what is at GG Cards and Breaks. Totally an awesome environment. Josh and Anthony make it fun. The staff makes it fun. And they have so much to offer. Singles, packs, graded cards, boxes. They go the extra mile. They know their guests that come through the door. They remember you. They remember the cards that you're looking for, like the teams that you like and the players that you like. They get involved with it. They're big kids. And in order to be in the sports and trading card industry, I think you have to be a big kid. I think to really enjoy what you're doing every day, you have to be a big kid, to have that kid spirit guide you. And GG Cards and Breaks, when I was a little kid, I would go with my mom and my grandma's, and I would get cards, and I have really fond memories of that. And then as an adult, I thought to myself, there's no place like that in Syracuse that really feels like home. And then my dad, last Father's Day, brought me into GG Cards and Breaks. And ever since that day, I found a place that I can call home, a place that I think about every day, a place that I want to go to every single day. And it's because of what they have. It's because of the people. It's because of the attention to detail. It's because I want to support local, and I want to support good people that truly care about what they do. GG Cards and Breaks is different to me. So different in all the positive reasons. So make sure you make your way to GG Cards and Breaks. If you've never collected cards, go and do it today. And if you have, go to GG Cards and Breaks and make that your next memory. So many wonderful things coming from a place that really cares about the people in the community and really cares about sports and trading cards and having fun. GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Experience the difference. Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show today. I want to thank you for being a part of the show all the time. It means a lot. And honestly, I can't thank you enough. Your support, your positivity, your goodness, it goes a long way with me. I appreciate you being here. And I want to thank everybody up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the world on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt for being a part of the show. It really means a lot to me. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. And once the show goes live, you can find us in the archive. Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, as well as iTunes and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York, Heritage Hill Brewhouse, Heritage Hill North, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's, Pizza Man, Great Lakes Honda City, and Mother's Cupboard. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Dolphins right here on Wake Up Call in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with our specials, AD and DT, as well as the Dolphin Dive. Diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You'll find all our content by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt as well. And make sure when you do that, click subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll also find Lemoyne on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. And as always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Make sure that you tune in for the Bobcat Buzz happening every single month, including this week with Tay Baker. You'll find men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, and esports, as well as Mary Hawkins joining us, the director of both Syracuse campuses, the one on James Street in Syracuse and the one right off of Route 57 in Liverpool, right across from Avicoli's. All of our content with the Bobcats of Syracuse is on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell. And you can also find the Bobcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. And as always, go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat Time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with our specials airing monthly called Moments with Marshall, featuring Gene Marshall, Binghamton University Athletics Director, giving us a behind-the-scenes look at the athletic department and Binghamton as a whole, as well as Bearcat Break Room with student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories in connection with why they're a Bearcat and what they appreciate about being at Binghamton University. All the content's on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll also find Binghamton on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to bubearcats.com. And as always, go Bearcats. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the show today. Jerry said, great stuff, best spent time of the day. Jerry, I can't thank you enough for that. I could tell you this right now, Jerry, at a time where I've gone through a lot of pain behind the scenes, that means a lot to me. So thank you. Show's been great. Company's great, and we all have a personal life, right? And they always say you never know the battles that people are fighting in silence, and I absolutely have been fighting one. And the fact that you think this is your best spent time of the day, I don't feel like I deserve half of that, a quarter of that, but I thank you for that. It means a lot to me, truly. So with that being said, I want to thank Carvel for the annoying moment of the week. I want to thank Carvel DeWitt. I want to thank Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead. I want to thank Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding for the top dog, all my cancer thrivers. And I want to thank Papa Joe for joining me on the prowl to speak on Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence's contract extension. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and of course, inside of the Heritage Hill Studios, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.